whenever this message finds you, trust that this was meant for you, okay? So I've already got some cards pulled. We've got the Seven of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the Six of Cups, Strength, the Moon, the High Priestess, the Six of Swords, and the Magician. I don't know if I said the Six or Seven of Swords at first, but the first card was the Seven of Swords, okay. And then we have the Two of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So you have really been putting your all into something where you have been getting nothing back. Like, okay, maybe you've got some stuff back, but it's like breadcrumbs, right? Like, it's just, compared to like what you're giving, it's nothing. And I really feel like here you have just given and given and given to this situation, and you have nothing to show for it, right? Like, this feels like, for most of you, this is a relationship where you have just perhaps been deceived in some type of way, or you just feel like you have a decision to make, right? Like, do you stay and pour yourself into this situation for more, like continue pouring yourself into this situation, or do you walk away? And I feel like in your heart of hearts, like in your soul, you know it's time to walk away from this. Like, you know it's time to leave this behind. But there is a lot of love here. You have a lot of compassion for this person. But this person is cold, like, and it doesn't mean that they're a bad person, but they can't give you what you're giving to them. They can't. And there is a lot of emotions here, and you are a very, very, very caring and nurturing person, sometimes to your own detriment. Like, you really, really give and pour yourself into like whatever you do, right? And whatever that relationship is, you really put your all into it, and you really like care for people. Like, you take care of people and you make them feel cared about, and that's triggering for some people, right? Like, when someone hasn't dealt with that, when somebody is not used to dealing with being cared for emotionally, like when they're not used to that, when they've not grown up with that, or they don't give that to themselves, that is triggering. Like, that is really triggering. And I feel like I just get this energy from you where you're like, why does this keep happening? Like, why do I keep on attracting in these types of people where I'm just like a lesson to them? Like, what is that about? And I really feel like this is like what you're asking yourself, right? Like, you're in this space of like, this might be a repeating pattern that you've experienced, where you like come across these people who you give so much to, and then you're just like a lesson for them, and it just feels unfair, right? Because it is unfair. You're being really guided to trust your intuition. So like, when you know that you're overgiving and you're not getting that same energy back, you have to trust that you need to walk away from that. Because on the one hand, you're feeling that, you know, this is unfair and I deserve better than this. But on the other hand, by still giving, you're still pouring into the situation and allowing it to happen. Like, you're kind of showing the universe in a way that like, I'm fine with this happening, because you're still allowing it to happen. You're putting yourself in that position, right? Whereas when you trust that little feeling, you know, your intuition, your gut, your heart, where you're like, I deserve better than this. Like, what is this? Like, I know there's better out there for me than this. I deserve peace. When you trust that and move away towards your own peace, that is when you find what you deserve. Like, I really say this from experience as well, because I have been in that situation where like, you kind of keep finding people that are not what you need, sort of thing, and they, you know, no matter how much love is there or passion or whatever, they can't give you what you need, right? And when you finally say enough is enough and you stand on that, like, even when someone else comes in as soon as you see them traits where it's similar, bye, like out the door. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you don't care about them, but you know not to extend your energy so much to the point where you are getting drained and feeling betrayed and like just allowing yourself to be in a place that you do not deserve to be in, right? So let's see if there's any more messages for you here. Yeah, look, like you're just feeling like the hard work that you have been putting in to this is not paying off at all. Like you have put in so much work, so much effort, and it's like the fruits of your labor are not, it's not matching up. Like it's just not. You're feeling abandoned, left out in the cold, like you're just at a loss in this situation because you're not getting the same energy back. Like there is not an equal exchange of energy here. Like there's just not. And that is just something that you really need to like move away from, quite frankly. Like you just have to move away from that because you know you deserve better than that. Again, like I understand how painful it is and how like difficult it is to make that decision, to move on from something, to grieve someone, like a situation, right, when you had such high hopes and you have such love for that person, right? But while you're focused on this, like what's this, that situation that is just bringing you nothing but like heaviness, you're missing out on these 2 cups, right, that are upright. So this represents like the more heavier aspects, the loss, whatever it is in the situation, right, like overall this card. And then here we have these 2 cups that are still standing, so there's hope. Like don't lose hope because it's not all broken. This isn't the end all, right? Like this situation is not the end for you. There's more out there for you, and you just really need to like kind of take ownership of the fact that you're the only one that's going to get you out of this situation, and you're the one that has to be firm on your boundaries, and you're the one that needs to allow this to end and to walk away from this. And I know that it's really hard. Like, trust me, I know. I'm a Scorpio moon, so like I'm not going to be at the moment sharing like all my personal experiences, but like trust me, I get it, okay? But there comes a point where you just need to have had enough and just be like, you know what, nah, not having this anymore, I'm off. And just allow that cycle to end, so that, look, it literally came out like this. Allow that cycle to end, drop those burdens, drop that heaviness. Things don't have to be heavy. They really don't. Like, this situation is not normal. You should not be feeling like this from a relationship, okay? Let's just take a moment to let that sink in. You should not be feeling like this from a relationship. It should not be feeling like, yeah. When you allow this cycle to end and you just, yeah, walk away, find your own peace, and just trust that you will find what you're looking for elsewhere, that's when the new opportunities come in, the new love comes in, the new abundance comes in. And maybe that's not what you want to hear, right? Like, if you're still in love with someone else and you're grieving that situation, I'm not saying jump into the next relationship instantly, no. But just that, like, the feeling of love inside, the lightness, the passion, the joy, your like spark. Like, I feel like you have almost lost yourself in this situation because it has drained you so much. But when you leave this behind, you will start to find like your passion for life again. Your creativity will start to come back. Like, maybe you've lost, like, you've stopped doing things that you enjoy and you've lost that, like, just your spark because of this situation. It has drained you. Like, this is like energy vampire, and that doesn't mean that they're intentionally doing that, but like, so let's get one final card for you. Things are going to start moving forward so quickly. You could be a Cancer or have Cancer placements, like in your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. But this is like a journey you're on, right? And there's this like that represents the yin and the yang. The yin and the yang. So like this journey that you're on, it's not always just easy. It's not always just light, right? There's elements to both. And like I was saying, I'm not saying that this person you're dealing with is a terrible person. They don't have to be evil for them to not be good for you, right? And accepting that, and also accepting that like you can love someone, you can miss someone, you can grieve a situation and what could have been, whilst also not allowing that person access to you. That is such a powerful thing to realise. Like, you don't need to be completely over it and pretend that you don't care. You can acknowledge that you care, acknowledge that you are sad that things didn't work out, but you can also move on with your life. And you don't need to feel guilt for those emotions or anything that comes up, right? When you make this decision to trust your intuition and find your peace and just move away from this towards what you actually desire and what you know, like deep inside, that is out there for you, things will start to move so quickly. Like with the Chariot, that is the fastest moving card in the deck. Like, things will really start to move so quickly for you in a positive way. Like, you will just see, when you stand on your boundaries, when you stand on like, I'm not budging on what I want sort of thing, when a new person comes in or whatever the situation is in your life, as soon as you see something where it's like that similar pattern again, nope, I've learned from that, I'm not that anymore, I'm not doing that anymore. It's like the universe, right? When you learn something internally, the universe will put stuff in your path to see if you've truly learned it. It's like at school when you study something and then you have a test on that subject. It's like you can study something, so you can like logically understand something like, oh, this pattern keeps repeating, I need to stop that. And then the universe will throw a situation into your life where it's like, oh my god, like that's very symbolic of what I have just kind of like discovered or learned internally, because it's trying to test you, like, have you really learned this? Like, are you gonna implement the lessons you've learned into your real life, right? So when you do that, trust, things will start to get so much lighter, things will start to move forward so much quicker. It's like you'll just be in this flow with the universe, right? And like I said, when you realise that like there's a balance of light and dark, and one isn't necessarily good or bad, it's just, there's just heavier emotions and there's lighter emotions, and there's, do you know what I mean? Life is a balance of those, and you don't need like to be rid of all of the heavier, negative, whatever emotions to experience the light ones. Like, you can be grieving a previous relationship and miss someone or whatever and still experience love and joy in your life. I hope that makes sense. Like, you don't need to be completely 100% like absolutely fine, never experience any type of sadness ever. That's not realistic. But when you allow yourself to just be and accept all of yourself, right, like just as you come, that's when you will just find that you'll find your flow. There's no more like resentment towards yourself or anyone else. There's no more guilt, there's no more shame. Things are just balanced and they just flow, and you just experience things as they come. So I hope that resonated for you and could help you. This was just a little short message because I felt drawn to do one. But yeah, let me know how that resonated. I hope it did. Please like and subscribe. Check out my other videos if you want. I have some more readings on my page, and I also have a Patreon where there's over 300 exclusive readings that are just on there. So if you want to check that out, links below, and also links below for like private readings and all my other socials. So yeah, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.